Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel and welcome back to Tazewell County. This is episode number 7 and let's get right to work here. We are here over at the animal buyer. Let me just bring this up on the map and you'll see that we're up here in the northeast corner of the map, almost at the map boundary. And so so this is where we are, and let me get out onto the highway because we have a little bit of a perhaps an unorthodox way of exiting the the buyer here, or the seller, the feedlot. So I will see you when we get out onto the highway. All right, so we are on the open highway headed back to our main farm, and yeah, it's a little bit of a tight squeeze back there. Certainly possibly not designed to accept a semi and a big cattle trailer like this, but we wanted to use these. We don't get the opportunity to use mods like this very often, and you may also notice that I have turned off the more realistic mod for the time being, only simply because this trailer has some issues. Even this truck has a little bit of issues with this trailer with the more realistic mod turned on, and so I'm just going to switch that off and switch it on as it sort of as I sort of see that it causes some problems, because I do want to have the opportunity to use some mods, introduce some mods to all of you, and not be hampered with some of the limitations that using modded equipment that hasn't been properly adjusted for the more realistic stuff will cause. And so even the universal tankers, it was much like driving a semi and a tanker full of fertilizer down the highway if it was iced over, and well, we don't have ice on the road, so I had to turn it off for that as well. So anyway, that's what we'll do. Well, we have 28 head of dairy cattle here on our trailer right now, and we've already hauled in one load. So we're basically going to bring ourselves to 50 head of dairy cows for our dairy operations for now. We may increase that as time goes on, but for right now we're going to go with 50, and we'll probably go with about 25 pigs, and most likely we'll do the pigs at another time, or I will do those off camera, just to kind of keep from, because it's a bit difficult to get into that that buyer back there, as well as get out of there, obviously, because the reason why I didn't show it to you was because I had to drive across somebody's field to basically get out of the facility, and didn't want to break immersion too bad by doing that. But anyway, this episode is more or less going to be about getting our animals started here on the farm. Again, 50 head of dairy cows to get started with, and then, as I said, we'll figure out our pig situation once we get a little bit further along. We do have Billy Bob and Jack are out working today as well. Billy Bob is finishing up the cornfield that we did not get to in the previous episode. I think we are still in the same game day. We are just continuing some of our projects that we need to do today, and so Jack is cultivating a field, and Billy Bob is planting corn. So that's kind of our method of madness, I suppose, is to cultivate before or after we plow, or before we seed, just to kind of make things a little better on the seeder and everything. So let me see if I can get this backed in to our gate there. So bear with me. And let's go open our gate. Not sure if our current cows that we have out here are as well mannered as some of our other animals on some of our other maps. I often joke about the fact that they won't bother to run out, but You know, you never know. These obviously are brand new dairy cows to our farm, so they may not have had the training, and it looks like we've got one that's kind of headed that way, but I think she'll turn. Hopefully she'll turn. All right, so let's bring up our animal dialog box here, and we are going to unload these guys. So we're going to unload all 28 of them because, well, that's what we need to do, because they need to be unloaded, and we'll confirm that. And there we go. Awesome stuff. All right, so let me pull forward just a little ways. And let's go back and shut the gate, because again, don't want them to get out. Awesome, awesome stuff. All right, so we're going to obviously need to get our animals all situated as far as food and things like that. So we're going to basically take this over here and just kind of park it out of the way for now, and we will most likely be using it to go and get our pigs. Again, our animal budget is a little different. It's not coming out of the budget that you see up there at the top of the screen, just for sake of additional storylines and everything. We do have investor money that basically is funding getting the animals operating and everything going, and so that's kind of how we're doing things there. So let's go ahead and take the little small 7530. We still have this on the map, at least for now. I'm not sure if we'll replace it or what. It's a good little tractor. I like this one. I also like the other one very much as well, the new one that's kind of new to me, new to us. You guys haven't seen it on the farm, on the maps as of yet, so that's how that works. So I tell you what, let's give them some water, because water is important. Actually, I just realized that we're probably going to need to get the case, the other case, the old case, the 1555. I think we'll probably need to do that to get their hay bales and stuff like that all situated. But for right now, let's get some water, and we need to find out where the water trough is. And I tell you what, let's just jump out and go see, is the water back here? This is our feeding area. Where would a water trough live if you were a water trough? And here's where a water trough would live if you were a water trough. All right, well, that's good to know. That's where it is, and that's where we need to come. So we will head back over to our John Deere and get this thing rolling and get them some water, because water, you know, they don't have anything right now. And I suppose if there's one little argument I suppose that I have with sort of the way that feeding and everything like that works with Farm Sim 15 and 17, etc., is that you can't, you know, I guess if you were in the real world, if you really were going to bring in a large herd of animals like this, you would probably already have put your water and your hay and those kind of things down, but you can't really do that with the game as it is. It won't, it basically only allows you to put in a certain amount for 3 days, etc. And I kind of wish it was a little bit different than that. I would like to be able to, you know, fill it up. But again, it's sort of using the same troughs depending on the number of cows that you have. And obviously we have a smaller quantity of cows on this map, and then we have run on previous maps. And so anyway, giving them water first is probably the most important thing. An animal, actually just like a human, can survive a period of time without food. But obviously water, we need water, we need to stay hydrated, and certainly our cows are actually no different. So we need to keep them watered, keep them fed as well. But obviously right now we're dealing with water. So let's go ahead and park our little Joskin, and just like that. Do we actually have... Nope, we do not have front forks on this particular tractor. So let's go and get the little trailer now. I'll tell you what we can do for now, just to kind of keep things rolling with the episode. We will give them some total mix rations right off the bat. This will give them a little bit of everything that they kind of need. If I can get this little small tipper backed up here. And I tell you what, while that is doing that, we will just tab over and get into our 1455. And this guy has got front fork capabilities, so we can go ahead and get him moving and get over here and get some straw. We'll put some straw in independent, and then feed him up some total mix rations for the rest of it. That's a little hard to judge. See if I can maybe do that better in cab. Sometimes things are better in cab and sometimes things are better out of cab. And in this example, that was a little better in cab. We'll grab up a couple of bales here, and I think that we can manually shred these bales. We'll find out though. I know we have a bale shredder, but I don't have any bells in it right now, and so this is probably just as easy to do it this way. Let's see. Actually, that's our pigs, isn't it? So that's not going to do any good to put that there. There we go. Give them a little bit of straw, and we'll go get this out of the way, and then we'll bring the total mix rations in, get that going. I'm seeing that looks like Jack is done. Jack was the one cultivating using the big quad track, and Billy Bob hopefully is still working with the other John Deere. Hopefully that's what he's doing. Hopefully he's not parked under a shade tree reading a comic book. All right, we'll get in this guy here and get him fired up. And then we'll go ahead and take this in and give them this, and that will at least give them some of the main stuff that they need to be able to survive on until further notice. And it's a pretty good idea to keep a smaller tipper here on this farm versus going really oversized as far as managing your animals, simply because your roof and everything is going to get in the way if you try to bring in something that's super big, super huge. And so not bad to just leave it like that. Let's just check our animal status right here. So they have everything that they need. We'll bring in some hay, which will basically fit this category. I am using the mod that is feed hay or grass to the animals, just simply because everyone that has chimed in when we've talked about this in the past have basically confirmed that, well, for the most part, almost nobody feeds grass directly to their animals much. I'm sure that there are some situations where that does happen, but for the most part, I think most everyone is feeding them hay. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick with that because, again, with the seasons mod, managing grass is just a little bit difficult. Sure, we can go out and we can obviously cut some grass if we have grass to cut, and we can feed that directly to the animals, but of course we can't do that in the early spring months, and of course we can't do that in the winter months, and we have no ability to store grass. So even if we wanted to do that, if we wanted to kind of make things a little easier for ourselves, kind of how I've done it in the past, I would bale grass just to kind of make it a little bit easier, so I would always have kind of a fresh supply. Well, you can't do that because the seasons mod is going to basically destroy that in time, and of course grass in the winter time will not last at all either. So that is a very handy mod because in my opinion, having it set up that way where you must feed grass as an independent category, food category, in a way kind of breaks immersion, because what it does do is it essentially limits us or prevents us from basically being able to run at 100% health. And so our health will pick up here momentarily once a little bit of time passes, and our health will pop up and we'll be at 100% productivity, because that's what I like. If we're going to do it, we're going to go through the motions. If we're going to have animals, we might as well make sure that we are always 100% productive. So that means keeping things cleaned, as well as keeping them all fed and everything, and keeping them happy is the rule of law here. So that is my rules, and that's what Billy Bob and Jack adhere to. So, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that this episode is only about 20 minutes, but really and truthfully, I think that this is a good stopping point for us, simply because, well, there's not a whole lot else that I want to do in this particular game day other than do some cleanup around the fields. I need to go and clean up some spots that I'm sure Billy Bob will have missed, and then also go ahead and top up the animals to 100%, and I'm going to do that off camera. Then when we come back for the next episode, I'm not sure if we'll be in this game day or if we'll be in a new game day. I'll have to kind of look and see what our seeding plan and everything is. But we're going to get right back into seeding corn on our remaining fields. Just as a reminder, we will have 4 fields of corn and 5 fields of soybean. I'm sure in the next few game days we'll also probably be able to get our first mowing off of our fields and get our hay inventory up, as well as maybe even our grass for silage purposes in these wonderful silage silos. I just love dealing with silage in this fashion and not the old-fashioned way. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate you watching my episodes. Please make sure you check out all the other wonderful content creators that I have linked down below my video. And until next time, please visit me on Thornton Farm on Midtown, USA, or back here on Tazewell County. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care now. Bye-bye.